already been there a couple times, mostly for work, trade shows and conferences and things like that. It's a cool city. It's on the harbor. You know, there's good restaurants. They have it's like a seafood culture. They're known for their crab cakes. And so when I got booked to go to this conference, I was excited. I started looking up restaurants on Google Maps, looking at the top-rated restaurants, things like that. Things to do in my area where I was staying was called Federal Hill, and on the point of Federal Hill, there's a fort. It's called Fort McHenry. It was an old military fort. Now it's a national park. And it went through different developments over the years. They use it as a hospital. They use it for different things throughout history, but it's been around since the 1800s. And it's really cool. There's a lot of history there that I didn't know about, so I wanted to check it out. It was about 2 miles away from my hotel. So once I got to the hotel, checked in, got settled in, I had some hours to kill before I had to work. And so I just took off. Started walking down by the harbor. So I signed up for this really cool gym. Under Armour has their headquarters there in Baltimore, and they have this gym that used to be a bank, and they converted it into a gym, and it's really cool. They have like a big turf area, and they have all different weights and free weights and a sauna and a steam room and all that good stuff. So I went, checked out the gym, then I just started walking. I walked the harbor. There's different restaurants, there's boats, there's outdoor eating areas, there's like a park and a skate park, and there's like a volleyball tournament going on. There's a lot of stuff. It was a lot of people. There was a lot going on. It was good energy, and it was a beautiful day. The weather was awesome. You could see everything from there. On my way to Fort McHenry, which is about 2 miles, it's an hour walk. There's also a restaurant on the water that I had found. It's a place called Di Pasquale's. It's an Italian place that had a ton of reviews. It's right on the water. It was pretty cool. So I walked in. It's a little market, nothing to it. They got a bunch of pasta salads and like eggplant parm and meatballs, and they got a lot of Italian dry goods and wines and olive oils and like olives and things like that. The real Italian is what they recommend. What else can you ask for with an Italian? Delicious. Ham, salami, lettuce, tomato, onions, 2 or 3 different cheeses, right on the water. This place is beautiful. And then kept going, and just kept walking towards the fort, looking at the looking at the houses. The houses are really cool. It's a nice little area, this Federal Hill area. I liked it. I don't know, I probably wouldn't live in Baltimore, but if I were to live in Baltimore, I would live in Federal Hill. And then it ended up getting too hot, and I ended up just getting an Uber to go the rest, because that was like an hour away, and I didn't have enough time. So I go to Fort McHenry, I get my pass, I go inside. The grounds are beautiful. It's a huge field. It's right on the water. There's families there. There's people having picnics and just walking the trail. I mean, it's beautiful out here. People come walk their dogs. People are tanning, running. You can see the fort. It's really cool. I try to do the guided audio tour anywhere I go. If I don't have an actual tour guide, I'll do the audio tour. It just makes it that much better. In my experience of traveling this past year, anytime I've gone to a place and done the audio tour, I never regret it. So I did that, and it was awesome. So I'm here at Fort McHenry in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm about to learn a little bit about the War of 1812 and what inspired the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem. I learned a lot about the War of 1812, the Battle of Baltimore. You learn about what inspired the Star Spangled Banner and Francis Scott Key and all the history that happened there. The Battle of Baltimore is pretty epic. We defeated the British. There was like 50 warships. They were shooting bombs like back in the day. These are 200 years ago. Type of bombs that would go up about like from 2 miles out.
and they would explode in the air on top of the fort, and then shrapnel would fall down. And you know, we held our position, and we defeated them, and it was a key battle for the War of 1812. Pretty badass.
And you know, the park ranger, he's explaining like how it was when the battle was happening. And
so back here would be actually a brick furnace back here, a brick oven, and that's where they heat the cannonballs up till they're red hot, and then bring them up here and load the cannon, and fire the cannon. And the whole idea is for that ball to skip across the water surface like a surface torpedo, and that would hit a ship right at the waterline. Wow! But this is truly amazing. This is basically a gun deck from a ship. Yeah, design-wise. Yeah. So if you were actually on board a ship below the decks, there'd be another gun here, another one there. So we're talking about 11 men here, 11 men here, 11 men here, 11 men there, all the way down the line. And some of these ships out there were 80-gun warships. Can you imagine how crowded it was down below? I wasn't there, but I read about it.
Battle was happening for, I want to say it was 24 hours. And, you know, it was talking about the fort and the way that it was positioned and how they held off 50 ships, these 50 British ships that were coming up the river. And, you know, the way they were firing the cannons, and they were just sinking ships that were out in the harbor. And it was really cool. And it inspired the song, the Star Spangled Banner. And it also inspired the saying, the land of the free, the home of the brave. And so they actually call Baltimore the home of the brave.
I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know about the War of 1812. Wasn't familiar with Fort McHenry or the Battle of Baltimore. You know, for 15 bucks, you take a nice little guided tour on a key part of American history.
It was really cool. I got to learn some things, learn some fun facts. I got this book. So anywhere I travel in the U.S., I try to get a copy of this book. It's a series of books. They're called Images of America, and it's a picture book. This one is Images of America, Fort McHenry. So it's something that I'm using to just remember my day there, and then also remember the history. It's really cool. I would definitely recommend, well, anywhere you're at, if you go to CVS or Walgreens, they have the Images of America books there. This one I got in the gift shop, and it's just easier, it's right there. So after I went to the fort, I went back to the conference, and I didn't do much the rest of the trip, really. But if I could give 3 recommendations for Baltimore, I would say, 1, definitely recommend checking out the restaurants. There's a ton of seafood. They're known for their crab cakes. They got lobster, a lot of stuff that's right on the water. They have a lot of different ethnic foods as well. They got some good steakhouses. 2, the bar scene is really good. There's a really cool area that has a bunch of bars, and it's called Fells Point. So yeah, Fells Point is really cool. I would definitely check out that. I would definitely check out like the Federal Hill area where I originally went. If you can go up to the hill, you can see everything from up there. They also have some history up there that you can learn about of, you know, back in the War of 1812, it was a lookout area so that they could see other ships coming into the harbor. I mean, definitely recommend going to Fort McHenry because it gives you a really good insight into like America, how it was over 100 years ago. And it is really interesting, at least to me. But if you're into traveling and you're into history and you're into, you know, learning about cities and what shaped them and what made them, then I would definitely go to the fort.